I'm William Nozak, and today I'm going to talk to you about creating an effective email campaign. So what goes into making an effective email campaign, or just an email campaign in general? So one, an effective email campaign can increase customer loyalty and convert leads, right? That's the whole thing, is creating more loyal clients, people that buy more, buy additional things, tell their friends, great word of mouth, share your emails, and then also turn right around and buy the services or products we're selling. Must be a marketing strategy in place for a campaign to be successful, right? There's got to be a reason why we're sending emails. Are we sharing our highly informative blog? Are we sharing our new products or services? Are we giving these people information that they want and need to see? If not, they'll just unsubscribe from the email campaign. And that's not what we're trying. That's always going to happen, but that's what we're always trying to fight against. And analytics and planning are required to create an effective email campaign. If we don't see some numbers, if we're not looking at numbers, we're just making decisions in the dark, and we're going off our gut feelings. And gut feeling is a lot of marketing. Don't get me wrong; it's part art and part science. But the science part is what analytics do we have, and we need to make decisions with that data. So to create an email campaign, we want to forge relationships with potential clients or customers. We like to say these are cold, they're frigid, they're warm. If they're hot, our sales guys are probably talking to them, about to kick out a scope of work or do work for them. But with email campaigns, we really want to get all the temperatures of cold, the warm leads, and we want to warm them up through automation. We want to give them more information to just kind of bring them down that pipeline so that our sales team can spend more time with them. To get to know the audience. It's not just about us. We just don't want to ram our company down their throats. And this is really where the segmentation of the email takes place, is when we know exactly what they're looking at or interested in, we frame that experience for them. We give them information specifically about that. We don't tell them about all the services that we provide or all the products we have. We really tailor that relationship and that experience for that audience. 3, use lead magnets to grow your list. Your list is your number one asset. Those email lists, if you're a B2B, it's everything. B2C as well. Potential buyers can come back and buy more things from you with B2C. With B2B, those lists of people are always going to be buying from you, the vendor, or vendors like you. And so we want to do things to grow that list the right way. We don't want to grow it incorrectly. We don't want to get in the bad graces of an email marketing software. And the better that list is, the better our stats will be, the better we can look at the data and really understand what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. So we want to give things away. We want to have coupons and really just use a lead magnet to grow that list as often as we can. 4, segment and group the email list. And this is really in an automation. Anything that can be automated should be automated. And so we want to segment the journey when people open up things and when they don't open up things. We want to kind of tailor that journey of information that they're receiving. And this takes a lot of work behind the scenes. And it's oftentimes in a software where you're building these journeys and these expectations. And when these things are done, we send them down these journeys. So consider the goal of the copy and the target audience, right? Who's opening it? Who's listening it? Is it people at the top of the funnel? Is it people in the middle of the funnel? Are they at the bottom of the funnel? Do we have something for tofu, mofu, bofu? Or are we really just saying, buy now, buy now, buy now all the time? That certainly never is right. But we also want to look, what is the goal of this email or this email journey? Is it to warm up cold leads? Is it a new client onboarding journey? Is it a training journey for a new employee that just automates emails? Everything can be automated, and there are different end goals and reasons why we do these things. Anything that you do consistently should be in an automated email. Like, I always send out these things to these types of groups or these types of people, automated email. Decide on sending frequency, of course, if from daily to every other day to a couple times a week, depending upon what the end goal is and who that user is and how quickly we need to get that information to them, or if we want to have a long horizon with these people, or even a never-ending drip that makes it where people can continually see us. Maybe they're not ready, or they're not totally in the buying cycle, they're not totally at the bottom of the funnel, but we want to stay in front of them because eventually they will be. These are frequency checks that we have to understand when we look at our bounce rates, our click-through rates, things like that. And then make a schedule. Once you have an idea or have content and you've got potential users or a list, then think of a schedule. What frequency can we keep up? How can we keep this fresh and new? And then we just build it in and put people at the beginning of that schedule, and they get to go through all of that copy that we've created, that journey, and we want to tweak and modify that journey. And then sometimes it's just, hey, here's our new blog. People sign up, subscribe to a blog, and really that next email frequency is the next blog. And some people want to see it as often as the blog comes out. Certainly you have to understand what the end user wants and how that frequency works for them. So forge relationships with your potential customers. The customer will know what type of content to expect from the brand. It's really an expectation. I'm in a couple emails, automated emails. For the most part, I'm always trying to get to inbox 0. So there's very few automated email journeys that I personally am, because I have so many emails coming in with the different email accounts that we look at in a day. So really there's very few that I look at, and you really want to tailor it in on people so they don't just unsubscribe. Your email list is really one of the most important assets. So we want to get an understanding, build a relationship, and don't give them too much. Don't give them what they don't want. Just build that expectation so people can understand what they're going to get from the brand, what they're going to be reading, if they should just delete this one. Good headlines, they make all of that obvious. So get to know the audience. You certainly should have a way of vetting people before you just put them in a generic automated email program. However, oftentimes that is the case, and so we might have to put them in like this box and then try to figure out what box they should be shifted in really quickly with what information they open up or they digest. For us, a lot of our emails, our journeys, there's a toggle button. And once we understand what service or what they need, right away they're in a bucket, in a unique bucket or a journey, we might say it. It's not the best way to get to know the audience. The more analytics, the more you understand about these users, the psychographics, the demographics of this person, the better you can tailor those journeys once you understand what service they're interested in. So use lead magnets to grow the list. Use lead magnets to grow the list. All right, so the list is everything, okay? That email list, when it's a good quality list, is everything. And we want to nurture that list. We don't want to lose these people. We don't want to make them go tone deaf to our brand. So we want to be very cautious and guard it we want to guard it well. We also need to give them content so that they have expectations and get to know our brand. It's a part of branding. It's a part of lead generation. So we want to keep it fresh. We want to give people reasons to get in our email journey. We want to find new and innovative ways to grow that list. And you're always looking for things from coupons to giveaways to fun activities to events. To email exchanges for things, whatever you can do to grow that quality list for the right. People go to trade shows all the time, right? They're like, I got 300 emails and 2 or 3 of them were good, or 9 of them. Let's say 1 or 2% of them are good. Still, even on a 1-2% high quality lead, depending upon what your product or service costs over the lifetime of that client, right? We don't want to just say, oh, I made a $20 sale. Yeah, you made a $20 sale, but that client never leaves you. So over 10 years, that $20 sale every month is actually, $240 or, $480 a year times 10 years. So 500, just say 500 a year times 10 years. That client's worth a lot of money. So even with small percentages of growing an email list through events and through trade shows and things like that, we have to always remember the LTV of the client, and we never want to forget the CAC of the client, the cost to acquire that client. I went to this trade show. It cost me $10,000. I picked up 3 clients. The lifetime value of those 3 clients is $50,000. I spent 10. I made 50. 20% CAC. Fantastic. Do that all day long. We don't want to lose track of marketing things that have a solid CAC, less than 25% is really great. And then the LTV, what are the LTVs of these clients and how quality are they? Are they lining with who we want to have in our client list at the end of this thing? When eventually we turn around and try to pass it or sell it to the next generation or our family members or just a buyer. So keep it fresh. Always think of the value of those leads, especially when they're turning into sales, right? Because the true value is when they turn into sales. So segment and group the email list. The email list should be organized and be able to send out high value, tailored emails. That's why we're putting them in specific buckets So, like us, we offer 10 services, something like 10 services. We don't want to talk to people about services that they have no interest in. And especially when we know what their interest is, we really want to target that information and tailor it. Positioned our information. Even a lot of the things we do in marketing, they're all very connected, right? Marketing's multivariate. It's this plus this. It's the pipeline. It's the lead pipeline. We need to have something going on in all these places. However, some people understand that if I just put a 10-pound brick on this, it can really give me all the leads I need, and that's okay too. Whether you have pebbles along the pipeline or large 10-pound weights on it that produce certain amounts, it doesn't matter. We want to segment these people and position our message to them so that they don't unsubscribe, they digest their information, appreciate us more, buy more from us, or eventually buy from us. So consider the goal of the copy and the target audience. Are we trying to educate them? Is it a DIY email? Are we trying to show them new products that we've added, additional products that go with what they've purchased? You have to tailor this message for a high success rate, high open rate, low unsubscribe rate. And we want to kind of have a goal. Is it grow sales, increase visitors, get them back to the website? A lot of times in an email marketing campaign, we don't really have to get them back to the website. We'll just send them our information, which, we send them a blog and they have to go to the website. Well, that's bringing them back to the website, but maybe we put some of that information in an email. Don't know why you would do that, but you might. Really, if we could get them back to the website, that's going to help our return rates over time, over 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. People continually come back to the website. That's a good thing. Keep them back on the site. Keeping the bounce rates low with content, keeping the time on the site, the page per visits, all of this goes up when we have a good email strategy that complements our content strategy. Increase visitors, or it's just to grow sales. We're warming them up cold leads in a email journey, or we've got a new client onboarding that we're giving them information and we're saying, hey, we need these Google Forms filled out, or these forms or these surveys from you. All of these are good reasons to have an email campaign. So deciding on the frequency is super important. We don't want to get unsubscribed, and we don't want to miss the opportunities. So you really have to look at your analytics and understand your end user, what the goal is, what their needs are, and what we can give them in good faith. If you don't know, join the email list of your competitors or really good companies out there and see what their frequency is. And really just somebody that you think has spent some time working on these things, you can sometimes assume that they've got it worked out. And at least start with that, the digital SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. At least do what they're doing so that when their email hits the potential client, who is also your potential client, you've got one maybe that comes out a couple days earlier than that, or a day earlier, or same day, an hour earlier, whatever. At least we're matching that frequency, and then if we feel like we can bump it up and be a little bit more effective, and it will turn into more leads, right? At the end of the day, this is what are the analytics saying? Is this improving the experience, improving our brand with these people, increasing sales, or are we just losing people with no gains? It's a really fine line. It's a juggling act more than anything. So figuring out the goals, the frequency, that's going to be looking at the analytics. It's going to be trial and error. It's also going to be what are the competitors doing? What have you done in the past? What are people are used to? There's a lot of things you have to consider here. And then once we figure these things out, we're going to make a schedule, and we're going to change that schedule. What's going to go out? Is it going to be content? Is it going to be DIY? Are we going to think of 3 or 4 categories? Are we going to really stick them in one category and only feed them information of that? But then once we have that category, how are we going to break that category down? What are the things I always want to talk about in that category? I want to have a good success story, talk about client successes, ask for feedback. You really just want to vary it when it makes sense to, and keep it straight. This is just one thing we send them when it makes sense to do that. You're going to get feedback from your email list. Bounce rates, open rates, success, leads, sales, it's all going to tell a story. And this is where you're going to use your analytical brain. And we're going to cover a lot of these things. We're going to show you how we use campaigns, how we build journeys, how we look at bounce rates and success rates, and how those warm up cold leads, and how we use them in new onboarding journeys. And it's going to give you an idea and some insight in how you'll use them with the company you're working with. And that's creating an effective email campaign. If you need to go back and rewatch this module, go ahead and do that. If not, I'll see you in the next module.